In February of this year, Arun, whose name we've changed to protect his privacy, finally became debt free. Arun is a 37-year-old techie with two kids. He spent 1.5 lakh rupees on his credit card in 2019. But paying that back took him 6 years in total. That's because after missed repayments, he accumulated over 2 lakhs in interest on the loan. Though Arun is now debt free, his close friend, who's in his mid 30s, has over 5 lakh rupees in credit card dues. He also has non mortgage loans exceeding over 35 lakh rupees. His monthly EMI right now is 2 lakhs, the same as his salary. It's so easy to get credit in India now. In 2018, credit card spending in the country was 4.6 lakh crore rupees. In the last quarter of the recent financial year, that figure was at 21.2 lakh crore rupees, meaning that number grew by 4 times. That's a CAGR of almost 24%. It's not just credit cards either. A lot of e-commerce companies, Amazon, Nykaa, Myntra, have a buy now, pay later, or no-cost EMI option now. Buyers think they're getting a good deal, but they don't read the fine print and sometimes find themselves in a never-ending debt trap. My name is Kudrat Wadhwa and you're listening to The Signal Daily. We don't do hot takes. Instead, we'll bring you deep dives into the how and why of consumer trends. In this episode, I'll speak to Salman about his story on what's behind India's credit card spending surge. To what extent are people defaulting? What can you, as a consumer, do to protect yourself from falling into a debt trap? So, you published a story for The Core about India's increasing credit card spending surge and how so many people are defaulting on unsecured loans. This story can be found on our website. So, my first question is pretty simple. What inspired you to pursue the story? Do you have friends who've kind of gotten stuck in this debt trap, or was it something else?
The reason I picked up this idea was because of Instagram and YouTube ads, especially. Because if you notice these ads from fintechs, BNPLs, banks, and NBFCs, they usually show up at the end of the month or starting of the month, usually targeting salaried employees. Before this, there weren't a lot of these ads popping up, but I think there's been an influx of these ads across all social media platforms. And when I inquired among other users, I found the same pattern of BNPL companies and, fintechs and even banks running personal loan and vehicle loan and other kinds of loan ads.
Also, you interviewed Mr. Anurag Jain, who said that fintechs are largely responsible for the huge increase in credit in India in the past 3 years. And he also said that it's because of these new age lenders who are very aggressive and often give out loans to first time creditors who are not ready for that. So, my question is, what does it mean to be credit ready?
So, when it comes to credit ready, how banks define that has been changing for a while. For example, before all the BNPL wave and before all this wave of EMI products packaged through UPI, people usually did their EMI spending on credit cards, and credit cards are only given at a minimum of 30,000 a month. So you will not get a credit card if you're not making at least 30,000 a month in salary, right? Or at least somewhere close to 30,000 a month in your salary. You are not going to get a credit card without that limit in your salary. So this is 2013, 14 when credit cards were the only option. So post 2015, we have seen products like Simple, LazyPay, and many other such products who modeled their product where they offered loans of only 5,000, 10,000 a month, calling it buy now, pay later. So this is a little bit minimal limit. Right? These are, of course, marketed towards people who are very new to credit. Now, what happens with that is you start using BNPL as a person, even if you're earning, say, 10,000, 15,000, and you still use like a 5,000 rupee credit, which is fine. It sounds great. But what these apps do also at the same time is that they also have access to your spending data. Where do you spend it on? How much you spend on? And they also have access to your bank statements and emails and SMS, right? Through the app. And the app actually reads your SMS and your emails as well. So over time, they understand you as a better borrower and they build a credit score, alternative credit scoring and they give you more and more limit as this goes on, right? So this has been happening for the last 10, 12 years. So the explanation about who's credit ready is different for a bank, different for an NBFC, different for a vehicle loan provider, different for a BNPL, and different for a credit card provider. So that explanation has changed.
So, another kind of common idea of credit out there is that, people right now, especially young people, have this sort of YOLO attitude. They want to live beyond their means and their salaries, and they think more short term versus long term, which is why they end up signing up for some of these apps or getting things on credit and so on. So, what I was wondering is, in your reporting, did you find that to be the case, that people who got trapped in this debt trap, that they were being careless, basically?
See, young people aspire to spend more than what they earn, not just because they want to have expensive products. It's also because they've been marketed these products specifically through Instagram and other social media. And it's not that they are unaware of the risks, they are, but at the same time, there is aggressive marketing push and ad spends by fintechs and banks. But still, there should be a basic education from banks. For example, when I was a fresher out of college, when I got my first bank account and I asked for a credit card, the bank refused. But 6 to 8 months later, they did come back and give me a credit card of 30,000 limit. But at the same time, they did have some kind of classes and some kind of advisory coming to my email and on SMS on how to repay and how not to repay. If you are using a credit card, always keep it within 30% of the limit. Do not overspend. And even if you're using 30% of the limit, you have to pay it every month. You cannot just pay half or the minimum amount. They did have a entire booklet explaining what are the differences between paying a low amount and a high amount, how the interest compounds. So this education came the moment you bought a credit card. But right now, everything is online. You're not really going to the bank to get it, where you're getting educated by a salesman there, because it is his responsibility to tell you this. So now that bit has changed, because BNPLs, credit card, UPI, different offerings means you have to manually open and read it. So the banks are not taking that responsibility anymore. It's the responsibility is also the consumer side right now. So yes, more and more youngsters, and not just youngsters, I'm also noticed a lot of boomers also stuck in credit cycle, debt cycle.
Salman says that it's not just young people, but also older people who get stuck in the debt trap. The way this works is that people only pay the minimum amount they're supposed to each month, rather than the full amount. They also don't realize that they have to pay interest as well. Scary, right? I reached out to a financial expert, Mr. Arvind Datta, a banker who now runs his own wealth management firm. He told me the best practices for how to use credit cards.
First of all, you should not be overspending to that extent that you are not able to make the entire payment when your billing cycle ends or your payment cycle approaches. But most people get carried away because they feel that they got a plastic with a credit limit and they can spend endlessly. Later on, they realize that probably they spend more than what they would have afforded. If they would have cash, they would use cash in the bank. So that's one. Secondly, what happens is that I would also blame, to a certain extent, banks and credit card companies to a certain extent, because if the customer's behavior, repayment behavior has been good, after 6 months, after 9 months, after 1 year, they start to give you credit limit increases. They will start to send you SMSs with a link to click and accept that credit limit increase. So what happens is that most of the time, people, without realizing the repercussions or the downside impact of it, they tend to sign up for those increased limits and then they go overboard on spending. So large ticket purchases, if you are booking a airline ticket or you're buying let's say a television, you can avail those finance schemes, 0% schemes that we have. But one should be aware that I should not go overboard with my spending habits. That's what one has to be mindful of.
Okay, got it. So pay your credit card debt on time and not go overboard. As Indians, a lot of us grow up with an anti-debt and anti-credit card mentality. As our country is modernizing, we're now wanting more from the world, even if our salaries don't necessarily support that. Credit is really easily available too, with so many of these new fintechs and schemes in the market. As more of us take out credit cards and loans, let's also learn about the best practices for doing so. The responsibility is on us now. That's all for today. You just heard the Signal Daily. We don't do hot takes. Instead, we'll bring you deep dives into the how and why of consumer trends. The Core produces the Signal Daily. Follow us wherever you get your favorite podcasts.